I'm taking over, that's a promise, not a threat.
Uppercut season off top, you stop breathing.
And then, Blazer Killer, we got Saturday, we got the Jake Paul card. And I'll say this about Jake Paul, and I'll go we'll talk about Jake Paul first and all that before that. Jake Paul, like I said, Jake Paul as a promoter, I have zero issues with dude. Like, he's probably one of the few that focuses on actually doing the club and prospect shows outside of Golden Boy. Like, he's the one that he signs talent that's not necessarily like a herald. Like, they're not coming out of the Olympics like Eddie or Top Rank. The Top Rank be doing. Like, he signs potential fighters, like fighters that have little.
He was responsible for the marksman fights with that Aguilar, I think. Those two lightweight fights. That was really good fights.
Yeah, and I would give him, because like Jake's cards, if you watch them, they are entertaining to watch for the most part, because it's well ran on that aspect. Their matchmaker, they do a wonderful job matching these prospects up early. The only slip up though was what they did with Old Boy. Like, apparently they released him, and that's not cool. That wasn't cool at all.
Oh, Kid Austin. I'm sorry, Schofield. Silve, H2O.
Yeah, they released Silve, and there was no reason there was no good reason why they released him.
He's on two for the niggas at 135 and 147. He's on two.
Exactly. And they kept the dude that actually knocked him out. Like, he's actually getting the marquee fights now. Go fig.
Oh yeah, body's bum ass.
Yeah. So, but other than that, I have no problem. Like, Jake, he has relationships with every platform. Like, the Zone does his prospect shows. He has relationships with regular pay-per-view. He has relationships with Showtime. He has relationships with all types of these providers. Amazon was willing to spend money on him, and now Netflix is really, like, he has all these relationships, and I have no problem with the promoter side of him. Him and the guy that co-runs the MVP promotions. What I have a problem with is Jake Paul, the fighter. Now, Jake Paul, when he started fighting, it was just like, basketball players, MMA players, shit like that, or other YouTube influencers. That's basically, it's like, I didn't mind him fighting those fights because those were just his level of fights, and I'm like, okay, yeah, cool. Like, you do that because more than not, the knockouts would actually come. And because let's put it, no one's gonna sit there and try to watch Jake struggle box. Most people want him to lay the hammer down at some point in the round against some MMA fighter that doesn't have any hands, or a basketball player that doesn't have no hands, or a YouTube influencer that doesn't really have hands like that. And that was cool. But somewhere along the line, Jake decided that he wanted to be a real boxer. And then he's been going the backdoor way, so to speak, in order to actually do it. That's where I have a big problem with this, because basically you're watching the con play out, and everyone knows it's a con, but he's trying to pass it off as it's not a con, and that's the shit that kind of that's the shit that kind of irritates me. And honestly, it just came to the head with the Mike Tyson fight. I was disgusted by everything with that fight. And again, you go from Mike Tyson to get your official win to go into Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who was just coming out of rehab for another drug or alcohol issue that he had. Dude clearly wasn't where he probably needed to be, but Chavez has always kind of lucked into some sort of money in his career. Dude, I don't think whenever a boxer needs something, he's right there and he gets a bag for it. It's actually disgusting that he can actually make these type of bags, so late in his career.
Yeah, I kind of get tired of the hoopla sometimes. So,
yeah, his father. His father is one of the greatest fighters of all time, and it must kill his soul to see his son being basically hoarded out for money. He's hoarded out because just to fuel his addictions, because they know Chavez got a big bag for Canelo. He got a big bag for Daniel Jacobs, which he was actually performing admirably in that one. And it's just like he keeps getting these bags and he doesn't deserve them. And then you see this fight here, where you would think someone who was a former middleweight champion, who usually fights in volume, would be able to kind of
those days are long gone, Pat. Long gone.
Yeah. And I get that, but it's not like Jake Paul is some sort of stamina guy. Like, bro, that gasses after 3 rounds. Like, and this is where like this. Like, if you're gonna play the con, you better try to knock dude out. Like, you know, like you gotta actually go. Like, don't try to box dude. Like, knock him the fuck out if he's not gonna do it. Or if Chavez is gonna do something, or if Chavez can do it, knock him the fuck out. Because, you know, it was like 8 rounds where it was just, you saw a whole bunch of struggle boxing. You saw Chavez not throwing anything, and then you see Jake landing some bullshit ass, throwing uppercuts from way back there and landing them. And I'm thinking to myself, I know Chavez Jr. knows better than this. He can counter. Like, Jake, after like 4th round, his hands were down. Like, and Chavez showed no life until the 9th round, where he started tagging him. And Jake was kind of all over the place after. Like, he's like, oh shit, he's hitting me. That type of deal. 9th and the 10th rounds, the final rounds. That's the only time he showed life. And it was just like, it was just disgusting. Like, where's your fucking pride? Like, I mean, even Tyson showed a little bit more from that way. And Tyson is almost 60 years old. Like that's why it's just ridiculous, you know. And I think this time, you know, people saw the contest. People were booing him. Like, people were booing Jake Paul and then Jake Paul, you know, had the nerve to be like, yeah, I want Joshua. I want.
He cut a heel promo after he won. He cut a heel promo.
I want Tank. Like, come on, bro. Like, you're not serious. You are not serious. Because like you're calling out heavyweights. You want Badu Jack. Cool. You know, you want this, but you want Tank. That, and you know, what the fuck does Tank do for you? Nothing. You know, you outweigh him by like 70 fucking pounds. Yeah, like, what the fuck why would you want to deal with? Why do you want to fight Tank? You know, that's the shit, and that's the shit that be like. I get it. You know, he brings an audience, and he brings a consistent audience too into there. But sooner or later, like, you can only do this con so much before people are like, okay, what is it? And it doesn't help too that he already has a loss to the quote unquote to the one fighter that he fought that was young and in his prime, and he hasn't revenged it yet. And so it's a terrible dichotomy to see Tommy Fury struggle box his way to a win, but then you go and you're fighting old washed up versions of Mike Tyson and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And then you talk about you want to be a champion and you're a legit fighter. Nah, Chief, that don't work that way. It's just as bad as when pro wrestling they say, you know, they start telling like, hey, this is a work, this ain't real. And they start breaking kayfabe and shit like that. That's how this bullshit is to me. You know, you can't you either commit to the con or you don't do it at all. Simple as that with Jake Paul. Yeah, Jake Paul needs to shit or get off the pot. If you say you're a boxer, act like one. And
I don't want to see Chavez Jr. anymore. That was fucking embarrassing.
Yeah, no. Chavez just completely disgraced himself. So I know the other fight, like, I was on Twitter, like Andre Berto, Ishe Smith, like there were a lot of fighters that were not happy with that. Like Tyson has an excuse because he's Tyson, you know, but Chavez did not have an excuse.
The man spent 4 rounds just putting his hands in his pockets, not doing the goddamn thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know who was worse that night with that shit, Chavez or Zerto, because both of them were pissing me the fuck off with that shit.
Yeah, I definitely want to get into Zerto's performance.
But at least Zerto has more of an excuse. Chavez has no excuse.
Yeah, but I mean, Zerto at least did work a little bit. Chavez couldn't be bothered to work a little bit until the 9th round.
Plus, at least Zerto had against Dorticos, and say whatever you want about Dorticos. Dorticos is a dangerous guy. He's the guy that he can punch. He can really punch. So, and my concern, my issues with Zerto was more how fucking out of shape he came into the ring. Fucking fat, musty, and sloppy.
Yeah, like in his thing with before I go into Zerto, like I said, Jake Paul, like if you want to be a legit fighter, bro, you gotta fight legit fighters. Like if you fought any of the cruiserweight champions right now without your little agreements, because I'm pretty sure there's an agreements with it. I'm pretty sure they will put their foot in your ass. Like every single cruiserweight champion, Pataya, Zerto, who you did the standoff with, and Badu Jack. Badu Jack is old and he's been through his wars, but there's nothing that there's nothing from Jack Lee's can tell me that he won't put his foot in your ass, like none. And Apatow will separate you from your senses. So it's like, come on, like Jake Paul needs to get together on that, like because I watched this at DMB's and they had that in the UFC, and people were reacting to UFC more than the Jake Paul shit. Like I think I was probably maybe one of 4 people that was actually really watching the Jake Paul shit while the others were watching UFC. And pretty much once that UFC shit was over, it was just like 5 people of us were just sitting there watching Jake Paul shit at Dave and Buster's. Like,
I ain't gonna lie. The main event of UFC kind of peaked. I mean, after round 5 or 6 of that Chavez Jake, I just kind of gravitated towards the main event.
Yeah, and everyone gravitated, and they all left. And I'm just sitting there with my fucking Long Island watching this shit because I'm thinking to myself, God damn. Because the Long Island kept me in my seat, though. Hey, that shit was good. Shit.
How was the wings? Well, I hope the wings were good.
Nah, I didn't get wings, nigga. I had barbacoa quesadilla.
Oh shit!
Yeah, that I love that shit. That shit is fire, bro.
Was it Buffalo Wild Wings? You said?
What's that?
Where was that? What was that? Was it Buffalo Wild Wings you were at?
No, Dave and Buster's.
Oh, DMBs. I got you, DMBs.
Yeah, Dave and Buster's. They air all the fights. Like the fights that I don't think are worth buying, and that one was not worth buying.
Convenient as hell.
Yeah. I go there. I watch it for free. I get drinks. I post up. They know me by now. They give me that small speaker. You know, where I can turn the station to one of the TVs to actually hear the audio on the table.
Yeah, that's fire as hell. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just peace. Because I've been there so much. So because during the football season, so they know who I am. So it's like per usual. I'm like, yeah. So yeah, I fuck with that. That's the only way to watch a bad card, bro.
I feel that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, Marcus. Yeah, the UFC fight was more interesting. Yeah. Like I said, it was definitely interesting because, like I said, Jake Paul is not the person.
I will say, like, because I got the Fire Stick, so I got the split screen. I was really into the beginning of the card. You know what I'm saying? Which we'll talk about, of course. I'm sure the opener.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely talk about that because the undercard was honestly it was cool.
Until Zerto kind of ruined the vibe. I mean, the first 4 fights or 3 or 4 fights was fired, and the Zerto
they were fired. Yes.
Zerto kind of was looking boring at first. But
at least with Jake Paul, at least we know his struggle. He's not entertained. He can't box. Zerto has no fucking reason. To look at him now, you would think that this dude was actually once a super middleweight champion, and he used to make this weight over and over and over again. How? I don't understand how the fuck he does it. How he did it. And then he goes to light heavyweight, and he's like, okay, good, he's a light heavyweight, but he looks like he's too big for light heavyweight. Then he goes to cruiserweight. Now he's too fucking big for cruiserweight. Like bro has to either get a nutritionist or something. But there's no fucking way that this dude. I mean, he's a whole cruiserweight, and he looked like he gained like 40 pounds overnight.
Yeah, he don't care about his diet. It seems like I done something.
Yeah, no, it looks like once he made the cruiserweight limit, bro just said, "Look here, bro. Like, okay, just give me all the food that I can eat." And he looked like he had pigeon fat. Like, bro didn't look in shape. Like,
yeah, he had the round tires around his stomach.
Yeah, and then his activity, like, usually Zerto has good activity for a guy of his size. The activity, and fun things too is like. One thing that was kind of low key alarming, like when he unified the belts in his last fight, like he put a beating on dude, like it was a serious beating. Dorticos must have absorbed a lot of punches, but Dorticos didn't even look like he was in a fight most of the time. But the only thing that saves Zerto was the fact that Zerto has a really good chin because, as P said, Dorticos is a guy that can punch. Dorticos can lay you out with one shot. If you're not careful, and Doricos hit that dude, and he didn't go anywhere. I don't know if maybe it's just the extra weight or whatever the fuck, but that was the most impressive thing that Zerto did in that whole fight. But that was it. Like Zerto, there's no fucking reason for Zerto to be that fucking out of shape at cruiserweight. Like if you're not gonna, if you don't feel like making weight anymore, just go to fucking heavyweight and fight heavyweights. You know
he's not doing that.
Yeah, because unfortunately, Zerto does not have heavyweight power. He has. I don't think has he scored a cruiserweight stoppage yet. I don't think he has.
Nope.
No, I think the last stoppage he had was at light heavyweight. You know, which is where if he had more discipline, that's where he should be. That's where he should have resided. He should have stayed there. You know, but Zerto needs to get that whole shit together, bro. Like there was no reason for him to be coming into that ring fucking out of shape. I get it. You're getting up there in age, but you didn't look this out of shape in your last couple of fights. Like, come on, bro. Like you gotta get this shit together. Like there's no reason for you to be that fat in the ring. And truthfully, I think if he was in shape, he would. I'll say Doricos, because I was expecting Doricos maybe to be stopped late, but yeah, no, Doricos was in that fight. He just the punches that he threw, it didn't bother him. He walked through them basically because he had so much extra weight on him. But yeah, like Pilot said, that fight did low key did start kill the vibe of the card, and that was the fight that people were looking forward to too. Like that was a really good fight on paper, but it turned out to be like a dud.
Yeah, can't have nice things, I suppose.
No, we cannot. Yeah, Miss Bitch. Yeah, Zerto's 6'4" and weighed a lot. He can make. Yeah, no, Zerto. Yeah, I'd say at heavyweight because he doesn't have heavyweight. The heavyweights at heavyweight, they all punch. They all punch extremely hard. So if Zerto goes there, he's gonna have to find. He would have to have a punch to kind of dissuade him, and he's not punching like that at cruiserweight. So it's gonna be hard to kind of dissuade some of these big motherfuckers that are bigger than him at heavyweight to let them. Zerto will probably will get his ass kicked at heavyweight if he goes up there because he's not doing anything different than what he did at 68 and 75. So yeah, it's definitely not a good idea for him to go up in weight to heavyweight. He can make it though. He has but yeah, he's gonna have to kind of get his conditioning under control in order for that to happen. But yeah, no, he was the biggest disappointment on the card for me because that fight itself wasn't disappointing. I was looking forward to a good hard cruiserweight scrap, and you got a dud. But like the other fights though, they were fired though. Schofield and Tevin Farmer again. Another fight where I didn't see a first round knockout. Hell, I didn't even see Schofield winning the fight, to be honest. But who predicted the who picked Schofield? Pilot or P? Who picked Schofield? Somebody picked Schofield. I know it wasn't me.
That was me. That was me. I picked Schofield. Sorry, I stepped away.
I picked Schofield, but I thought he would struggle with Farmer, but I thought he would get the decision. I didn't think he.
I didn't see a first round knockout. Nobody saw that shit.
I don't think anybody saw that shit. I was like, what the fuck?
I thought he was gonna win. I thought Father Time would catch up, but I didn't expect it to catch up like that.
Yeah, no. All it took was he stepped. It was a pivot and a right hand right on the button, and that was it. And I was like, and Farmer looked like Farmer was just like out of it. Like he saw like everything was shaking after that.
Yeah, he was ready to go.
He was toast. And I was like, no fucking way that this is gonna end in a first round knockout. And Schofield didn't waste no time, put him down 2 more times, and the referee was like, yeah, no, this shit is over.
No, I was gonna say 3 times in 1 round. Like, yeah, he was done.
Yeah, I was completely shocked by that one because like I said, Farmer's coming off giving Zepeda and Muratalla all types of hell. But low key now they think about it, I think when you have because he absorbed a good amount of punishment from Zepeda, and I think it's like maybe it was a fight. It was just maybe too much too soon. Like
I felt like he was overlooking him too. I felt like in the build up and everything, he was like, I should have got some wins off Zepeda. It just felt that mentality, like he was overlooking Schofield. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but in Schofield, as bad, as even though he didn't have lost, Schofield looked worse. Like he was out for a long period of time. Like his last fight, he didn't look good. and then the whole Shakur thing, which obviously because if it wasn't for Dubois getting sick too, Schofield would have probably been blackballed by now. He would have been completely blackballed. So he should be. So he is so lucky that Daniel Dubois came down with the same type of sickness too, because that boy was looking to really be in career hell. He is very.
I mean, if he lost that fight with Farmer like many expected, that would have been it. He would have been on OTX type shit if he lost that fight.
Quite possibly, yeah. So and you can tell too, because in fact that you can really tell, like after the fight, dude broke down in his corner. Like, I mean, yeah, it clearly. I mean, the criticism got to him, and it probably would have never got to him as much, But unfortunately, his father is a very outspoken guy, and he uses his son's Twitter to let loose his thoughts, and they're not very popular thoughts. And it was after something that was kind of like, that was kind of suspicious, and there were not enough answers to what was going on with them. So you have that though, but Schofield, at least that's he scored a win. That's something he can build on. So I mean, it keeps him in the hunt for 135. But I am positive though Shakur is not going to really run that back with him because he wasted Shakur's time. As long as Shakur holds the belt there, I'm pretty sure that's not going to be a fight he's going to take unless the WBC orders that shit. But I'll give it to Schofield too, because no one has ever put away Tevin Farmer that quick. I think he's only been KO'd once. And that's why
that was like Farmer's one of those guys like B-Hop who like lost their first couple fights type shit. You know what I'm saying? Farmer hasn't been stopped since
the Pedraza stopped him, but that was like in his 10th fight or some shit like that.
That was like early on to his career.
But like I said, just to see that, you would have thought that maybe just the experience of fighting the killers that Farmer had been fighting would have been more than enough. But yeah, it's like I said, every dog has his day, And I'll give it to Schofield. I just hope that Schofield kind of continues in this like he builds on something positive, no more bullshit. Like just keep his nose clean and just handle business. But Farmer may need an actual break, like a long extended break after that one, because I didn't expect. I didn't expect, because no one expected him to get blown away like that, within a round. So, Farmer's gonna need a little bit of rest going forward. Like he's gonna need to, and not that they need to give him a soft touch, because that shit was not cool. That shit was not cool to see him just to get wiped out like that.
Well, I mean, did you even notice after he got hit the first time, or dropped the first time, should I say? That twitch happened right away. Like, dude, he should look about retiring. I don't know. Like, did you see how he was when he got dropped and he was, he's saying he was okay. He was looking up already. You know what I'm saying? That twitch shit was happening.
I don't know what it is. I mean, he has tics. I mean, he did it.
I think he mentioned on Twitter he has Tourette's. I think he mentioned it on Twitter. He posted on
Twitter.
I
mean, I knew what it was because when he was doing it in the JoJo Diaz fight, I knew what it was right away, because I had a college roommate that had those sort of tics. I just didn't understand why it happened to happen in that fight where it never happened before. So it's weird. It's a weird thing that he was in trouble and he started ticking like that. But usually you can keep this shit under control with some medication. But most likely, I think more often than not, he probably couldn't take that medication due to him having to take a drug test. You don't want that to be something that he gets popped dirty for. So. But like I said, hopefully that Farmer gets some rest. Like he deserves deserves a little rest after fighting his competition that he's been fighting. Like, he's fought harder competition at lightweight than the champions.
You think Floyd Schofield is more so like Abdullah Mason's kind of his timeline, or no? Kind of he's a little older, a tad bit older. But do you think is that more? Probably not. I'm just wondering.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't. I mean, right now, I guess we'd have to wait, because Mason is going to be going for that vacant WBO belt. We just don't know when that's actually going to be.
They're being moved differently, and I don't know if the timeline will match up.
I mean, because they're both. I think they're both contenders at this point. They're not prospects or prospectors. I think they're both pretty much contenders at this point. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
I mean, like I said, Mason is almost borderline. I mean, he's ready to be champion.
I mean, he's fighting. I mean, he's gonna fight Noakes probably on the Bud card for a title. So I can't say he's even a prospender anymore. He's a contender at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And like I said, Schofield got a legit win over a former champion. So like I said, it's a really good win for him, and it's a good way to get some of his momentum back that he had before his last fight, and then the score shit. So. I mean, to me, I think the paths can cross, but it just depends to who's actually going to. Because I mean, Mason had a little bit of issue making weight. Well, I think he had an issue making weight, and these guys are big lightweights, so we don't know how long they're going to have to even make this weight anymore. Like it might be a situation where they might meet at like 140 or something like that. I mean, we shall see, but I mean, obviously, if they have, I mean, I would love to see it because I think Schofield was talking about he beat Mason in the amateurs and shit like that. So, if it's something if that's something that they can make by like next year, like make it before one or the other outgrows the division. Because I have a feeling that's gonna be a thing soon for one of them. And shout out to Julian Rodriguez too, because that was the other big upset on the card, And this is because before that, Jake Paul signed Avius Griffin. I've seen him fight before, 17-0, 16 KOs, had plenty of power, and Julian Rodriguez is just known for getting thumped by Jose Pedraza. That's two Pedraza mentions, two fighters getting thumped by Pedraza legitimately. So that's crazy. Now Pedraza's like washed as anything, but when Pedraza was on, he was on, and Pedraza beat the living shit out of him. So I wasn't expecting nothing more than Griffin actually knocking out Rodriguez though. But that was a hard fight. That was a real hard fight to like. If there was one fight that I could tell that people were interested in watching from where I was in David Buster, it was that card. It was that fight.
Me too. I'm a welterweight fanatic, so I was looking forward to that one. And Avius Griffin, I've seen him on the Bella cards, and I knew eventually he was gonna lose. Just you could tell, but I didn't expect it to be that fight. So
yeah, neither did I. I mean, it was great. He did actually score a legit knockdown and everything like that, and he did cut Rodriguez up like he did later. But it was clear that Griffin, his boxing is kind of lacking because all Rodriguez had to do was just like crouch low, and he landed the same left hook over.
He spammed that left hook, man. He was spamming that left hook. He couldn't miss. Yeah,
and then the left hook, and that left hook actually ended up being his undoing. Because that was the left hook that actually that set up the knockout for him.
That was vicious.
Yeah, and the funny thing too is Rodriguez. If Rodriguez didn't score the knockout or the knockdown, he would have lost the fight on the cards, on two of the cards.
It was like a tied card, wasn't it? Or Griffin was
something
up one,
like
I think.
And you know that Jake Paul was not gonna let Avius Griffin lose if it went to that.
Yeah, that was never gonna happen.
Yeah. So yeah,
Rodriguez, I wonder if he's gonna cut Griffin now that he took that. Like he just drops these niggas that take that.
I mean, that would be some cold-blooded shit. Or Jake would be like, okay, look, we're gonna give you another chance to kind of to get right. I would think. I mean, I get it. Like the promoting is a cold game, and I get that sometimes one fighter fuck up. I mean, we've seen this before. But I would like to think that Jake will probably give him another shot. But if he gets knocked out again, then I can see him getting released. But considering what they did with Silva, like who even knows at this point though? But I mean, it wasn't like he got knocked out and won. Like he put up a fight. He just got caught with a punch that he was getting spammed with over and over again, and that kind of that.
I was rooting for Griffin, but I can't even be mad because the way Rodriguez was like got on the rope, the sheer power, pure raw emotion. You can never be mad if you're a fan of boxing. You can't be mad at that.
Yeah, no, I'm not mad at him because they mentioned because that loss to Pedraza sent him back a lot because it was on national TV. Like he got thumped. So
Top Rank? Was it ESPN or Top Rank or what was it on?
Yeah, it was a Top Rank card. I remember that shit too because I was like, God damn, like Pedraza's looking like he's like vintage. Like that was the last time that Pedraza looked like that too.
Turn back the hands of time with that one.
Yeah, like that like he beat dude's ass and then you can tell that. And Rodriguez happens to be now he's like he signed with TKO Boxing, so he's a Dana boxer now. So he's making up for lost time. So it's like, not Jake didn't even have a chance to even get him on contract. So most likely now we're gonna see Julio Rodriguez in some fashion in like soon.
Oh yeah, he's gonna headline a TKO card for sure. You know what I'm saying? At this point, probably headline some.
Yeah, he has a little GameStop belt for that, and he took a 0. Yeah, dude is gonna do some. Dana's Dana's gonna definitely he's definitely gonna main event a TKO boxing card. That's a decent pickup for him. But yeah, Julian Rodriguez, because I bet on him to lose. I have to give him his props. He did that. I didn't expect him to do it, and he did that. So I have to salute him. But yeah, it was just sad though that that, like I said, the undercard was so good, but the main and the co-main just blew. Like it was terrible. Like, because honestly, it had at least one of those fights that actually. Now, had the co-main been actually good, then I could tell that it would have been, then the card would have been more palatable overall, though. But they were both struggle, and it was just like, ugh. It kind of wasted the efforts of everyone on the undercard to actually put in the work to actually make it to make that shit entertaining before that. So in terms of, let's see, and then Raul Curiel too, had a nice little slugfest with the Argentinian and knocked him out in 4 rounds. Like
I missed the beginning. I heard he was getting hurt in that first round with body shots though. I missed the beginning.
He was, but then the Argentinian couldn't take the body shots back. So yeah, no, it was a good scrap. Like I said, these were the fights that had the guys, the people that David Buster's like. They were going back and forth. They were reacting to both things happening. But once that co-main hit, they all went to UFC. they all drifted to the UFC screen.
Cruiserweight killing boxing. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it was a shame, but like I said, it like overall it was a decent card. Like I'm not gonna the only thing I'm just saying is just like I don't Jake the fighter. Like I said, I'm sick of the con is up. You either got shit or get off the pot. Because right now, most people want to see him KO'd now. Like, and you don't want that type of Yes, people will come see your fights because you make it a spectacle, and you take cues from pro wrestling. And by the way, keep fucking Logan Paul off the fucking mic too. Like I don't know what it was. Why they decided to give the dude the mic, and dude was just talking on and on and on. Like,
I will say I did like Tarver's commentary though. I did like Tarver's commentary here.
Yeah, no, Tarver's commentary was good. Like it was because he got himself back on track, so it was good. But yeah, some people just don't need to be talking, and Logan Paul is one of them. Just give him just give him like a minute or so to spit whatever dribble he's doing, whatever angle he's doing in the WWE, and then get the camera off and keep the car moving. Like it was extended. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, no one gives a shit about what you're talking about. Like, you're a terrible boxer yourself. So it's like, come on, you're a worse boxer than your brother. So just shut up and keep what you have to say short. Oh man, but yeah, Jake Paul. I mean, obviously, the next Jake Paul event is in 2 weeks, give or take. With as he's going to be part of the whole Taylor Serrano thing, as Serrano is his current marquee fighter. So, and obviously, we'll have a show going through that as well. So, yeah, no, he's. Like I said, everything else in boxing outside of him being a boxer is on a high. So, he's gonna have to build on that. Hopefully, maybe he gets enough talent in the future where he can step away from doing all these stupid carny fights. Where it's clear that they have the handcuffs on.
Good luck with that. That ain't going away anytime soon.
I mean, one thing that boxers always told me about shit like this is somebody eventually will derail the train. It always happens. Someone is going to be like, you know what? I'm not going to follow this goddamn script. I'm going to knock him cold. It's happened throughout history. people.
Hopefully sooner than later, because
Yeah.
I don't know how much more I can bear of this shit.
Yeah, because like I mean now the WBA gives him a ranking, then he's gonna have to go fight a top 5 fighter at some point. So it's gonna be like we'll see how it goes. But like I said, I don't think there's gonna be enough money to have people like certain people are gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna lose to this guy. Like no, like he's gonna have to prove himself to actually be able to beat some motherfucker without some sort of wild stipulation or gentleman's agreement in the back. Now, that's the way it's going to happen someday. But yeah, I tire of Jake Paul fights. I don't want to see him fight. I don't, if he's gonna be on this real boxer shit, be a real boxer. But don't pussyfoot around the shit. Like it's too, have some integrity and stop threatening to sue people that don't, that talk bad about your career too. That's also pussy too. The fuck out of here.
Yeah, fuck out of here, because people didn't like what people said. Yeah, stop being a fucking ninny.
Yeah, exactly. Saying this. I mean, he basically did the same thing with when he tried to say something about Katie Taylor and Serrano and shit like that, and he threatened to sue him. He got offended on that, but now he's doing the same shit. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, no one gives a shit about what you like. Like, if you don't want that criticism, fight better. Yeah, Rob D. Drake Paul tired of this dude. Yeah. Like honestly, Jake Paul should. He should have followed his brother into pro wrestling. At least there's a level of work that you understand it's a work, and so you can suspend belief on a lot of different things. Yeah, but it doesn't work for boxing. What he's doing doesn't work for boxing long term. Like, not at all. Juke Paul. Yeah, like I said, something. Like I said, he'll slip up one day. Just like I said, like P said, hopefully sooner than later.